Helene. The impact.
I just see people canoeing down the road and it's flooded, and then people's houses are gone and people's cars are gone, and it's just got so serious so quick.
The recovery.
They'll chainsaw, they'll mud out homes. If the home has been flooded, they'll take out the sheetrock.
The lives forever changed.
Going from, is the food gonna go bad in a refrigerator, to getting a text from my little sister saying, we don't have any more food, we found the refrigerator and where it floated to, we're gonna try and eat that before everything goes bad, is devastating.
How you can help. Coming up on Carolina Week.
From the UNC Hussman School of Journalism and Media, connecting Carolina's campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
Good morning, I'm Bethany Pryor.
And I'm Isha Patanaik. Today we're covering an issue that is impacting an area more than 100 miles away, and yet it still feels like it hits so close to home for so many in the Tar Heel state. We're talking about the aftermath of Helene.
Behind us is only a fraction of the devastation across the state. At least 50 people have died in the state, more than 1,000 people are in shelters, and 800 National Guardsmen are working to deliver recovery.
Well, this is the Duke Energy power outage map right behind us. Let's go straight over to western North Carolina right now. As you can see, 195,000 people are out of power, 65K near Charlotte, and 312,000 people still without power 5 days after the storm. But these are just the numbers. Of course, there are real people behind them.
Here are some of the faces you will meet on our newscast today. They will share their stories of how the storm has, in some cases, changed their lives. I am one of those personally impacted. This one is actually my dad.
Kids have been destroyed. Our neighborhood here is underwater. There's been mud flows. We can barely get in and out of our neighborhood.
It really does hit close to home, even for us. Now we take a look at how this devastation is personal to students on campus. CW's Anna Catermeyer is at a drop-off site to see how our community is responding to the destruction. Anna Cater.
I am seeing firsthand how people here are helping. And I can tell you that the need is great. But for one,
well, unfortunately, our live shot is not working. We do apologize for these technical difficulties, but Anna Catermeyer did want to tell us that the roof that once provided a family shelter is now among debris. The destruction is just unfathomable. Hopefully we can get the live shot back up and running soon, but as of right now, we can go ahead and get on to the next story and see what else the aftermath of the hurricane is giving us, unfortunately. President Joe Biden will travel across the Tar Heel state later today to see the devastation for himself. The president will start in Raleigh with a briefing at the State Emergencies Operations Center. He then says he plans to head west to survey some of the destruction, but that he won't be able to get too involved without delaying relief efforts. Biden has already approved the governor's request for federal assistance that will help provide immediate assistance to 25 counties in the eastern band of the Cherokee Indians.
For students at colleges in the western part of the state, the loss of communication with their families brought about stress and anxiety. Our Landon Job takes us to the Appalachian State University to see how students and parents reached to the aftermath of Helene.
It went from silly fears to, oh my gosh, what is really going on?
Just days after Helene, some students at Appalachian State are reunited with family members amid devastation. Alyssa Wilson is a junior at the school. She says a hurricane in the mountains is something she thought would never happen.
I just see people canoeing down the road and it's flooded, and then people's houses are gone and people's cars are gone, and it's just got so serious so quick.
Buildings across campus are severely damaged by flooding, including academic halls and apartments off campus. Students are left without power, cell service, and running water. Sophomore student Allie Fraser says the effects have left her hopeless for what's next.
I don't know if it's a thing where I need to go home and plan to have time and tell my boss from back home, hey, I can work for the next month, or I don't know if I'll have school again this semester.
Some parents unable to reach their children for several days say they lived in fear, Tracy Wilson says she reached her daughter for a split second before cell service was down. She since has reached her daughter as she came home this week. Her first words when finally talking with her daughter were, "Are you okay?"
I told her that she needed to stay inside and stay safe, that it wasn't over yet, that there were still strong possibilities of more flooding, more rain, more wind.
Efforts for relief have been ongoing. The Wilsons say there will be a long road to go.
For the first few normal thunderstorms that go through, there's going to be a sense of fear and panic of, is it going to get bad again? Is her building going to get hit this time?
Like, as a community, I've never seen App State come together like this. It's so, like, it's such a tragic thing because this happened, but it's like beautiful to see everyone come together.
A reminder that there is always a rainbow after the storm. In Chapel Hill, I'm Landon Jobe, Carolina Week.
We have our live shot back up, so we're going to go back to Anna Cater-Meyer and see what is happening in Carrboro and with students in Boone.
So I'm currently seeing here how firsthand how people are helping. And I can tell you that the impact is great. But for one student in particular, her life is forever changed as her home was completely destroyed.
The roof that once provided her family's shelter, now among the debris left behind after Helen destroyed everything. Only an old sorority t-shirt left behind for UNC senior Gwen Gowan.
When they made it out past the backyard, the fence holding up feet of water collapsed, and my mom was caught in that. She washed away pretty fast, but she was able to hold onto a pipe until my dad could get to her. They climbed up on this high ground as they could find that hadn't been washed away, and they were waiting there until they were rescued.
Adding to the devastation,
I got a text finally from my parents after 24 hours being missing, and they said, "We're alive, we're safe, but unfortunately the house is gone."
A mudslide destroyed her home, her father's job site, and took the lives of her pets. She said she knew Helen would have an impact, but not to this extent.
Going from, is the food gonna go bad in our refrigerator, to getting a text from my little sister saying, "We don't have any more food. We found the refrigerator and where it floated to. We're gonna try and eat that before everything goes bad," is devastating.
Gowan is traveling home to take supplies, but needs support.
We've never asked for help before, but we are now. We're homeless, and my dad doesn't have a job anymore. So I started a GoFundMe last night, and I'm reaching out to everyone and saying, if you can help, even in the smallest way, please do.
Gowan can't quite make sense of this and isn't sure if she ever will.
It's just incomprehensible because you look up here and we have blue skies, and 3 hours west, people are fighting for their lives, trying to make it out of layers of mud to get help.
What Gwen Gowan knows for sure is her life will never be the same. But right here in the Triangle, efforts are underway to help those in Western North Carolina. Right now, I'm at Back Alley Bikes in Carrboro, where there's not one, but 2 sheds full of donated items that are going to go to Western North Carolina. Donations include diapers and water. These are just a few of the items that the community has gathered to send. And as you can tell, they're still going to be pouring in until this Saturday. As a donation drop to help families affected by Hurricane Helene in response to the catastrophic flooding, Triangle Mutual Aid is a community-based organization offering aid to the Triangle community, but now extends efforts to friends in Western North Carolina. This site remains open each day from 11 until 6 p.m. Community members are asked to donate items such as water, life straws, and non-perishable food. A full list of acceptable items can be found on their website. Saturday at 6 p.m. I've been told that these donations will be taken to Western North Carolina as soon as roads are passable. Back to you, Bethany.
Thank you, Anna Cater. Climate change likely made Hurricane Helene worse, according to the Southeast Regional Climate Center. Director Dr. Charles Conrad said oceanic warming in the Gulf of Mexico contribute to the hurricane's strength. Conrad said even though there are ways to combat climate change, people will continue to be affected by the results of global warming for a while. This will especially impact those who can't afford to move out of the most affected communities.
From a hazard perspective, it's a dangerous place to live, and there's nowhere else do you live, right?
Stressed the importance of getting medicine and water to the people affected. Of course, supplies relief is a part of the massive recovery effort now underway, especially in places like Boone. It has record-breaking floods. It is one of the towns that has experienced landslides. It now has to depend on rescue crews and volunteers. It is also the place I call home.
These houses have no way of getting in and out of this neighborhood.
These are the videos I received from my dad showing the damage that Hurricane Helene has done to my neighborhood in Boone, North Carolina on Friday. Thousands of others have been affected by Hurricane Helene in western North Carolina.
We woke up early to a crash, and a huge oak tree had fallen on our roof right behind our garage, and that was right behind where we sleep.
Just 5 days after Helene devastated western North Carolina, there have been many organizations ready to help these communities recover. Sissy Graham, senior advisor and ministry spokesperson at Samaritan's Purse, said that they are sending volunteers to Boone, Asheville, Georgia, and Florida to help rebuild the towns that have been destroyed.
They'll chainsaw, they'll mud out homes. If the home has been flooded, they'll take out the sheetrock or the drywall and make sure they spray for mold and things that can grow.
Kathy Cole was just one of the many people who have had volunteers from Samaritan's Purse help clean up their homes.
It would have been weeks and weeks of us doing it, and it was just done. And then they came back the door in like 3 hours and left, and our house looks like a different place.
Samaritan's Purse has also provided Watauga, Ashe, and Avery County hospitals with pop-up clinics in the parking lots. Hospital employees say these clinics have been helpful as many hospitals are full.
So we are providing a field hospital unit that's providing oxygen for people that need oxygen. That's also happening in Ashe County, but in Avery County, we have provided a 20-bed emergency field hospital.
There are still many people in western North Carolina without water or power, but people, businesses, and organizations in Watauga County have donated thousands of water bottles, diapers, and other important items.
At Alliance Bible Fellowship, where Samaritan's Purse is operating, they also have a line where the church is doing food distributions.
Boone is such a great community for taking care of its own, and there are so many people in need and so many people who are trying to meet those needs in different ways.
Through rebuilding homes and providing food and water, Samaritan's Purse and other organizations have provided hope to the community.
It's amazing to go through my community, my hometown I grew up in, and see orange shirts, the Army of Orange, serving, and so thankful for the volunteers that make that possible.
Samaritan's Purse coming, they brought hope.
In Chapel Hill, I'm Bethany Pryor, Carolina Week.
It's devastating to watch my hometown suffer, but knowing that the community is coming together and helping one another is incredible.
Well, as many community members and nonprofits come together to support Western North Carolina after the devastation left by Helene, here's what you need to know for government assistance. To apply for federal assistance, visit disasterassistance.gov, get the FEMA app, or call the number on screen between 7 a.m. and 11 p.m. to apply. Make sure to have your Social Security number, current address, where you were during the hurricane, as well as a list of damages and your banking and insurance information.
Following the devastation effects of Hurricane Helene, the Carolina Center for Public Service will be an information hub for how to help those most impacted.
And what we want to do is to find out from communities, most probably through some of our state resources, what are the needs that Carolina might be uniquely positioned to be able to help with, and then organize those efforts around campus.
CCPS asks that students do not bring resources themselves so that routes are accessible to first responders. Blanchard said the best thing students can do right now is to donate to the American Red Cross or local Western North Carolina organizations. They can also sign up to volunteer through Volunteer NC.
Well, with all the floods we've been covering, I'm at least glad to see it stopped raining outside. It still looks a little gloomy, but at least it's dry.
I hope that Western North Carolina can catch a break this week and see some sunshine.
I agree. Well, Megan, what can we expect for the rest of the week?
Thanks, guys. As we're starting out today, we're going to see temperatures in the mid-70s around your noontime hour. We're going to hit our high of about 80 degrees at 3 p.m. And then as we head into the evening, we'll start to lower back down to those lower to mid-70s. But as we move through the rest of this week, the low pressure system that's been hanging out around us, giving us rain for the past 2 days, is headed off the coast, and it's going to bring some high pressure over us, which isn't going to bring very much rain at all, thank God. And that high pressure is going to also cause a downward draft, which is going to make the temperatures a little higher for what we expect this time of year. But it'll also make those rain chances start to dwindle, but we still could see a little bit of rain, just spotty showers here and there. But we're starting to see down in the Gulf, something is working up down here. I know you're scared, another hurricane coming, but it looks like it's headed straight over Florida and right to the right, should veer out away from us. Here in North Carolina, we should see less than 1/4 of an inch for North Carolina and less than 1/10 of an inch in many areas as well. So no worries there. But with all that dry and warm, it's going to bring some warmer weather with it. Normally this time of year we see 78 degrees because it is, after all, it is October now. So as we're moving through the rest of this week though, we're seeing the lower 80s, 80 to 81 on Thursday, 82 as we move in through this weekend, which is going to make it great if you're headed out to the football game on Saturday. We're going to see partly cloudy days, mostly cloudy days as we move through the beginning of this week, and then mostly sunny days as we head into your weekend. Perfect for tailgating. Temperatures in the lower 80s for most of the week, and lows will also be in the lower to mid 60s.
Well, coming up, how students responded to the vice presidential debate, and what a recent ruling may mean for your ability to vote in the election. And coming up, the call to action, what you can do to help support the hurricane relief efforts.
I know so many people at the UNC campus where you are, this is where they call home, and it's hard when you're away from home and seeing what's happening to the news. But this is just, it's a special time for community to come together, for churches to come together and serve a community that's in need.
Wait, have y'all seen the new episode of Love Island?
No, we need to put it on now.
I know, I don't want to see any spoilers on Twitter.
Is that blue raz? Can I get a hit? I normally get guava ice, but this is hitting.
I'm gonna go outside and get some air.
Thank you for sticking with us. There's only 35 days until the election, and with the race still close, the vice presidential debate on Tuesday was high stakes for both parties. This was the first opportunity to hear Governor Tim Walz and Senator J.D. Vance represent their candidates. The debate included topics like immigration, reproductive rights, and the 2020 election. Many students chose to see the debate at the watch party in Carroll Hall. Freshman Carter Heeline and Anaga Puranek came to the watch party to hear more about the candidates and the issues that mattered to them.
In general, how they're going to help the economy, especially with the hurricane that just happened and how it affected North Carolina so heavily.
I don't think the debate specifically will affect who I'm voting for, as I feel like I kind of already have my mind made up for the most part, but I was still interested in seeing how they did.
The North Carolina Court of Appeals ruled that UNC digital IDs cannot be used as voter ID. This overturns the original rule that allowed students to use their digital IDs to vote. UNC first years were only provided digital IDs this year, but the UNC One Card office provides physical IDs on the 3rd floor of the student stores.
Well, calls for Mark Robinson to withdraw from the election continues as he visits western North Carolina in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. But Robinson says he's not backing down. He says he plans to continue his run for the governor's office. Several members of Robinson's staff have announced they will step down after a CNN report claimed Robinson made controversial comments on a porn site's messaging board. The campaign has yet to announce replacements for those staffers. Some voters are calling for Robinson to step down in an effort to save other elections in the state. UNC College Republicans Administrative Vice President Preston Hill says he wants the party to focus on other parts of the ballot.
I think what's more important is focusing on the down ballot races and putting resources toward those, because right now the Republicans have a supermajority in the legislature. They're looking to keep that.
If Robinson stepped down this late, his name would still appear on the ballot instead of his replacement.
Iran will face serious consequences after launching 180 missiles on Tuesday, according to the Israeli military. Hours before the attack, the White House released a statement saying an attack was coming and the U.S. was supporting Israel. The IDF did not report any injuries. This comes after Israeli airstrikes killed Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah last weekend in Lebanon. Lebanese officials say over 1,000 were killed and hundreds of thousands displaced.
Well, just like everything else, the hurricane also put a damper on last week's athletics. But we have a lot to look forward to in the next few days. We'll talk about it right here after the break and this call to action.
The journey ahead is long, and I want to encourage the college students there at UNC and other surrounding campuses that we need volunteers. And even if you can't be here this week or next week, we will need volunteers for weeks to come and months.
Hey y'all, I've decided to quit vaping. I feel so trash right now. Like, I really need my vape. Y'all, I literally cannot sleep. Like, I hope this is worth it. I can't. I know quitting is worth it. 'Cause I'm worth it.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. The Heels have a lot of exciting athletic events to look forward to this weekend, so let's take it over to Sports Extra anchor Spencer Haskell for an update on all things Carolina athletics. Spencer?
That's exactly right, Bethany. With October just beginning, we've got a lot to look forward to in Carolina athletics this week, and we'll start tonight with volleyball. The Heels will head to Durham tonight to take on Duke, looking to continue their 6-game winning streak. After taking down Syracuse and Boston College to open ACC play, the Heels are looking to keep it going. And if Carolina wants to improve to 12-1 on the season, they'll need to keep leaning on the strong duo of outside hitters Mabry Schaffmaster and Sophie Hampton. Game time in Durham is set for 6:30 tonight. The number 3 ranked UNC women's soccer team will return to Dorrance Field tomorrow night when they take on the visiting Louisville Cardinals. Kate Fossey has been fantastic so far for the Heels offensively, with her team leading 8 goals. But after scoring her first 2 collegiate goals and notching an assist last Friday to help take down Virginia, freshman Linda Allmark has emerged as another Tar Heel threat the Cardinals will have to keep an eye on. Kickoff is set for 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Keeping it on the pitch, the Carolina men's soccer team will head down to Clemson Friday night for a top 25 matchup with the Tigers. With 19 goals in 9 games this season, the Clemson offense will be poised to put the Tar Heel defense to the test. But UNC goalkeeper Andrew Cordes has been superb this season, racking up 14 saves in 9 starts to help keep the Tar Heels in the win column. UNC graduate forward Ahmad Al-Kwak has netted 2 of Carolina's last 4 goals, both of which coming in victories, and maintaining that momentum will be key tonight. The Tar Heels come into this one undefeated and will definitely be looking to keep that streak going. Kickoff is set for 7 o'clock Friday night. And over at the Bosch, after wrapping up their 4-week scrimmage slate, the Diamond Heels will host Walter State for an exhibition game on Friday. Carolina returns 23 lettermen from the last year's squad that reached the College World Series, including freshman All-Americans Jason DeCaro and Luke Stevenson. With the departure of superstar Vance Honeycutt and other key players like Dalton Pence and Casey Cook, Coach Forbes and the Heels are bringing in a slew of talented transfers like Sam Angelo and Tyson Bass to help fill that void. First pitch for Friday's scrimmage is set for 4 p.m. Tune in to Sports Extra Friday at 11:30 for a better look into another jam-packed weekend of Carolina athletics.
You get some friends to come up here, and even maybe you got friends that are from Florida and Georgia. There's responses all over the country. Samaritan's Purse was already responding to storms previously, so we got them. There's great opportunities to volunteer. I just encourage, get those UNC kids out there and start volunteering and helping. It'll be a great reward.
It's been a year of growth. I'm focused, I'm resilient. It's been a rewarding year. All the hours of late night studying, all the hard work, all the breaking bad habits is finally paying off. I'm an athlete. I'm an academic.
Oh my God.
I can be whatever I set my mind to. And I am not my old bad habits.
Welcome back. Remember, for up-to-date emergency information, visit readync.gov. We hope we have brought you a better understanding of the situation in Western North Carolina right now. You can count on us to continue the coverage, and today we'll leave you with a reminder of how you can help.